So I found the source article from what you mentioned, Sned, about 77% of, in the case of this article, it was 77% of young Americans not qualifying for military service. The article had a little bit of some mixed information, and I wanted to bring up a couple of points. When you spoke of the original 10%, that is persons with an IQ less than 83 that would be doing more harm than good, and in effect, those people would not qualify for a civilian job either, because the military is I don't know what the word would be. I think you even said it, like a microcosm of society at large. It isn't, in my experience, but I digress on that for the time being. The other thing is, it's a little bit mixed up, because in a lot of cases during enlistment, there are waivers that are allowed. Things such as when I was going through in processing, there's obesity, vision correction. You mentioned Asperger's, but there's actually, if you've ever been on the YouTube of Eli the computer guy, he's actually an Army veteran who's like almost ate up with Asperger's. And my bro Faust, oh man, this must have been, it wasn't 20 years ago the last time I talked to him, but 15 years ago. They were bringing in different kinds of individuals for computer stuff. Like if you look at, he was in the Army, but if you look at the Navy, some of the individuals that they have that are in there that work computers, they're near autistic but extremely talented in what they do. So on the surface, things may appear a certain way. Training has certainly changed over the years, and the nutrition thing is a big deal, and it's something I thought of because I remember seeing a article, or it was a report. It was something with history. I don't know. my mind's a jumble this morning, but I'll put these thoughts together for us. Nutrition was a big deal for the United States, directly pertaining to military history, because in World War I, so many people were from rural areas or inner city areas that were malnutritioned. They were not fit to serve, so it was a big deal to make sure that people had teeth-based nutrition that could be improved from there. I can tell you from my daughter and nephews going through school, that's not the case now with school nutrition. It's not seen as something anymore as a national security issue to make sure that youngsters are healthy. Somewhere we lost sight of that, and kids could now just buy ice cream for lunch if they wanted to, even at a very young age. I'll give you that. But I mean, the article says what it says. I don't know if recruiting quotas are still being hit. My area, like I said, is a little bit skewed. There's a lot of a stronger military volunteer effort. You know, kids going through like the ROTC pipeline, and I meet many capable young people, and which is the second part of this. I don't think the causation of the 10% that can't function in the military would be the same that couldn't function in civilian life. I don't think that it's fair to extrapolate the 77% out to that. a person can be on mental health medication, for example, in the civilian world, and be able to function absolutely as needed, whereas in the military, the stresses of those environments and the guidelines that they've come up with, that's a different story. I would also say that obesity isn't as much of a factor in civilian workplace either. It may have effects as far as like energy and the cost of healthcare, but you would still be able to work. I would say most 50% of my employees are too obese for military service, yet they're working just fine. So I don't know if it's necessarily alarming. In the case of the article, the concern has to do, it's almost like, oh, are we still going to be an all-volunteer force? Well, is it about volunteering or is it about qualifying? You know what I'm saying? Because even if you're not volunteering, and you're drafted, or it's some sort of a conscript situation, the same unqualified people will remain unqualified. So, bit of a strange article. So, good looking out, and catch y'all in the next video. Link to the article in the description box.